Microphone stands are not always the best camera stands, but tonight the microphone stand is a camera stand. This video is pretty much about narcissistic abuse because, I could go into what to do about covert narcissistic abuse, but just explaining how fucked up these people are is a lot to wrap your head around because it's fucking mind-boggling. The first thing you should do once the hard part is figuring it out, because some of them know how to blend into society and have an agenda the whole time. But the first thing you do when you figure it out is talk to them as little as you can. Use something called the gray rock technique. Do not give them your energy, but these are, once you understand the dynamic, all these things might even come naturally to you. Once you understand what's really going on. I want to talk about someone who was my best friend until last week for about 4 years. Okay. And I'm describing what's going on to give you an idea of the social leverage that they will employ. Now, I was already kind of a codependent people pleaser, but in a certain way. It's weird because to a lot of people I was aggressive and no one to mess with, but certain people knew how to slip past my radar. I'd been a security guard before. I'd been, I had been developing in a lot of ways as far as protecting myself. Even in psychological ways, there are certain things I've learned about people to protect myself from them. And to work with, whatever kind of dark emotions they might have going on that they don't know exactly what to do with, I can navigate those things. But with what a narcissist does, what some of them are doing is... Okay, this ex-friend of mine was like, he had had glasses and hearing aids and he had a speech impediment, and I don't have any of those things, and I'm not the judgmental type. I know I'm very good looking, but that was part of me being his friend, was not to be patronizing, but to just to give him make him feel, I don't know. Plus he was cool to a degree, he in regards to seeking novelty, he knew how to kind of do that kind of fun stuff together. But once I realized what he was doing was basically keeping me provoked the entire time so that I looked upset, and then also having that godlike power of pushing me down, bringing me back up. And this was just in a friendship. He used money and my own insecurities against me. I had no idea the entire time until I started studying narcissistic abuse. Because some people can seem narcissistic, but they actually are not. And some people can be very cleverly narcissistic and you wouldn't have a clue. Like, someone who's normal might not be so nice all the time. This guy had a fake niceness that he had all the time. Some people might get pissy with you a little bit here and there, but they're certainly not gonna dominate you under their thumb. There's a big difference, and that's really hard. That can be hard to tell. But yeah, this person was basically, using, because I'm so good looking, which is great, but using that to make himself look good, and then cause me to be so conflicted that I'm kind of looking to him for support, but really it was me on the inside saying, why don't you hear me as a person? Why don't you hear me as a person? But I wasn't aware of all that. I've definitely changed a lot recently, and that's what caused me to end the friendship, a lot of healing. And it hurt. I went into a bad emotional flashback. I went into a bad, traumatic kind of... Because I had to accept the truth, too. And that was hard to do at the same time. That and walk away and get on with my life. Because I was kind of he was helping me out financially a little bit until I figured it all out. But basically, he would do that it was the self-image. I didn't understand the idea of that self-image and having that audience of, look at me, like, I hang out with hot people, and even they, like, feel like they need to, like, depend, because like, if he wasn't treating me that way, I wouldn't have felt such an urge to, like, my energy wouldn't be going towards him like that, you know. So yeah, like, he was leveraging it all against me, and you know, anytime that, like, I had a moment to, well, victory, he would have, out of nowhere, it would be out of nowhere, he would have a backhand, like, condescending comment to say. And it was weird because most of the time he had this very fake, nice, pleasant, intelligent, philanthropic demeanor. And then I don't know, and I think it was because in those moments he was so frustrated because I wasn't allowed to have those moments of joy, because it made me look happy, which made me look more attractive, which was probably what he hated about me the most. And you know, that was not my, like, I saw the situation so differently, you know. If anything, it was like me just letting him know that he doesn't need to be conscientious about his eyeglasses or his hearing aids or his speech impediment. Like, I'm just not that kind of a person. And like, and other than that, it was just like, hey, this dude seems smart and he's got money, he can help me. But I learned the hard way that I had to become my main source of income, and now I make just as much money as he does. So, yeah. But I was already working 40 hours a week when I knew him, but I make way more now, and I'm a lot smarter with my money. So, anyways, yeah, I just want people to know how, because I felt very shocked when I realized that he was, his roommate actually told me about some behavior, some ways that he was acting very, very abusive and sadistic. And I lived with him in the past before this person, and it sounds like he's just gotten worse. And then to really, like, there was no denying it at that point, and it just threw me overboard emotionally. Because I'm already grieving and I'm already healing, and my healing process has been very steady upwards, and then when that happened, it just collapsed, and now it's back up. Like, it took a week to let go of that friend of 4 years because of the healing. Richard Grannon, Spartan Life Coach on YouTube. That's all I have to say. SpartanLifeCoach.com. That has some useful stuff. But yeah, like, there's no bounds, and you can understand narcissism and study it, and that did help me. Actually, the general interest in psychology that opened up a lot. But still, like, if you're in touch with how you feel, because that was what it started with, me grieving and getting in touch with my feelings. Like, you don't have to know all the details about it. It's really a feeling you can get, but understanding it and studying it does help. But it kind of happened, like, once I got in touch with my feelings. Like, it helps to know it consciously, but my unconscious was doing so much that it was kind of inevitable. But knowing the knowledge helped me make the right decision at the right time. That was the good thing about the knowledge. But my feelings were just doing what they do. You know, like, they were ready to already abandon ship. Like, and then it happened, and I had to deal with it. But it was still a loss, a big loss for me. So yeah, I mean, this person basically did leave me on my own in a situation I couldn't afford when they had plenty of money, and it was so confusing because this was one of this person will walk around town. He has a lot of pets. He had a snake on his neck, and, like, you know, a mommy with her baby would, like, walk up to him and, like, just converse. But that's the whole thing. It's the performance. It's the narcissistic supply. And this person is that sick and twisted. He said pedophile statements to me. He said lots of things about children and having children, and she just has a very cynical, bitter look at it, perception towards it. And you know, this person is basically a total piece of shit. But he seems very nice. Seems just like a really sweet, kind person, and he's like remarkably good at it. And the contrasting behaviors just shoot from out of nowhere, randomly, and not all the time. And once you understand the whole game of what's going on, how your pain and your suffering is keeping that sedated, so that they can hide it more, so that they can live this fantasy of being the superior one more, by literally destroying the lives of the people around them. Because I almost got my life destroyed, and luckily I had too much healing to get knocked down. Yeah.